Hi, thanks for joining again for one of Cardiff Youth Services question and answer session. Today we are going to be looking and exploring the topic around sleep. So a lot of young people I work with have really been struggling with sleep and routine over this period. And I've also been speaking to other youth workers across Cardiff, which are also facing the same issues with their young people. So we are going to get some specialist support and guidance from a sleep specialist, which we will introduce in a minute. So thanks for joining, and I hope this helps. Okay, so your name is, and a little bit about your work and your organisation, if that's possible.
Yeah, so my name is Jonathan Charest. So as you can hear, French accent. So I'm from Quebec. So I did my PhD in psychology, specialized in sleep with athletes. And now I am in Calgary in Alberta, still in Canada. I'm working at the Center for Sleep and Human Performance with Dr. Charles Samuel. He has extensive knowledge and experience with Olympic athletes, professional athletes. So basically we are working with a wide range of athletes going from teenage to professional to Olympics, and we're trying to optimize their sleep as much as we can throughout the country to make them, podium worthy.
Yeah. So I'd like to think you're really good at getting sleep then.
Yeah, well, usually I'm pretty good at sleeping. Last night wasn't a good of a sleep. We have a puppy, so I'm not doing what I'm recommended to everything. So that should be kept a secret.
So how has COVID been in Canada?
Well, as you know, it's quite different in Europe or UK. We are a pretty large country, unpopulated. So basically we have a lot of space to do social distancing. So if you look at it in the news, it's pretty much Quebec was having difficulty, and more precisely Montreal, which is probably the most European kind of city. Everything is close together. As for us here in Calgary, it's pretty spread out. It's more on the American side structure of city. So I would say so far it's really good. We only have here in Alberta 5,000 or 6,000 cases, and really we never hit the 100 mark of people in hospitalization. So I would say it's pretty good here. I mean, we have plenty of space for social distancing, so we're lucky in that way.
Only if I could book a flight out there now.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, our prime minister decided to close the border.
And how have you personally managed through COVID? Have you been able to spend more time at home, learning new skills, or has it just been work as usual?
It was work as usual, but as you know, so everything was shut down. So we decided to comply with the government and shutting down the clinics. So as a researcher and being on the academic side, during the first week, I stumble a little bit and I fall into the trap of believing that I should be more productive from home because I didn't have to commute. I have my entire day in front of me without any responsibilities, so I could do extra work. And you notice that after a week or so that it's a miscalculation on everyone's part, and now it's becoming the top of the talk among a researcher that we should not put that kind of pressure on us. So after that week or so, I took a step back and look at the whole picture, saying, why should I be more productive in these different and these bizarre times? I mean, it's the first time I'm experiencing a pandemic. So basically what we did, I returned to the base. So I just put a structure in place. So why should I get up earlier than I was used to when I was working? So I decided to have a sleep schedule, my eating schedule. I incorporated my physical activities. So I decided to put a normal schedule as if I was working. And in that way, I found that it reduced massively the anxiety and the pressure that we put on ourselves. And also you're spending extra time with the family, with friends. I mean, you have the Zoom meeting and the Skype meeting, so the beer virtual meeting, and so it's a new way to relearn the relationship. Also, now you don't have any excuses saying, "Well, I don't have time for this and that." You're taking time to work on your relationship with your friends, your surrounding. And to be honest, it's a big hit on the economic and financial part. But on the other part, personally and relationship, it's a good to rediscover how we are connecting with each other. So no, so far it's really good. I think we're gonna have benefit out of this. And yeah, I spend a lot of time reading because I always put aside the reading part, but now I don't have any excuses.
Good. And that's really taking time for things like you actually want to do, which is really, really good.
Yeah, so the famous I will resume training, I will resume jogging, I will resume this and that, and you always have an excuses now. So as I said, the way I work is you have a 24-hour opportunity every day, and you start with the basic. You need your sleep schedule, so you put your sleep there in first because it's your vital function that are recovery with sleep. And after that, you put all the pieces together, and you have enough time to accomplish everything in your day. And now that we have restarted the clinic here at the Center for Sleep, so I'm putting my hour with the patient at the clinic, my sleep time, and I noticed that I have plenty of time actually to go to do my physical activity. So that's probably the biggest learning that I had from COVID, that you do have time. It's just a matter of how you prioritize it.
So the reason I kind of contacted you guys at Centre for Sleep was because I work with a lot of young people in Cardiff, and what I've been finding is the biggest issue is sleep. So what kind of advice would you give to young people struggling with sleep at the moment?
So at the moment, so with the teenager especially, so if we go at the basic stuff, I mean, with school, I don't know what time they do start school in the UK, so I'm assuming towards 8:30 in the morning. They are already hit with a sleep deprivation, a sleep restriction schedule-wise. I mean, teenagers are night owl, biologically speaking, so really they should be in bed by 12 and 1, and they should be awake by 8, 9, or even later. Now, with the COVID situation, they have that opportunity of being realigned with their circadian rhythm. That said, my opinion and my recommendation on that is make yourself a schedule that you would like to have without putting aside anything, such as they're probably doing homeschooling back in UK also, as they do in Canada. So set a time for school at home, and also set your time for your preferred sleep schedule. So are you tired at 10? You're not. And tomorrow you don't have to wake up at 6:30 and take the bus to school. So go to bed when you're actually tired. Get up when you need to, 8, 9. You're not lazy because you're getting up later. You're just being more efficient with your energy. You're just being more aligned with your circadian rhythm. So basically what I would tell the teenage population is, have the discussion with your folks, politically correct with it. Try to manage a way that you can go to bed later a little bit without spending excessive time in front of the video games. Wake up at a proper hour, 8 or 9:30 or 9. Yeah, 8:39, and do the schoolwork after. And following that, you can do whatever you want: sports, physical activity, music, or any extra learning that you would like to. But don't put on yourself that extra pressure of you should remain on the same schedule as if anything was happening. That is completely untrue. We are in a pandemic, so therefore an exceptional situation asks for exceptional behavior. Just move along with it.
So would you recommend setting alarms on your phone, kind of putting something up on your wall, or?
Yeah, no, so definitely the alarm. So you look at the time that you are actually tired. So let's throw a number out there. So let's say I'm a teenager and I'm feeling quite tired towards midnight. Therefore, I'm calculating and I'm looking at 8:30. So yes, the alarm should be set so you don't oversleep and you're not malfunctioning. So one day you're at midnight and then you wake up at 10. The following day you go to bed at 1 and you're waking up at noon, and then back to midnight, waking up at 9. So you will be just unbalanced. So you set a bedtime, you set a rise time, and you stick to it. Also, you be flexible. I mean, nothing drastic, nothing rigid ever works. So being flexible about this, give or take half an hour with your rise time, and after that, you set yourself for success. You have a little goal, little achievement, a little target that you want to hit every day. And after that, you go along with this. So, of course, you keep a schedule, you keep yourself occupied. And please, for every teenager, don't spend too much time in front of these screens. Don't over scroll your cell phone. Don't over scroll Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all this and all that. Act as you were still learning in school, but manage with the COVID situation your sleep schedule so you can be actually more efficient during the day. And the schedule is the baseline.
I suppose that leads us on to the next question then. What could young people do to improve their sleep?
All right, what they could do. So going to bed a little bit later. Yeah, the schedule. Then managing the environment in bed, in their bedroom. Get the electronic device out of the bedroom first.
I suppose that's easier said than done, isn't it?
So it is.
How do you kind of just go and do it then?
So how you do it? So the way I do it, so I use the sleep education. So in theory, in all the scientific article, they say, well, you should really put away the cell phone and every screen 2 hours prior to bed. Now going back in the reality setting, and you talk with teenager, and 2 hours is almost an impossible task. It's 2020. Everyone is on their screen.
And not even for young people, for adults, that's difficult, isn't it? You know,
the cell phone is the extension of your hand, basically. So you work backwards. So we set the bedtime at midnight. So you are giving them challenge. So between 11:30 and midnight, what can we do to at least have 30 minutes away from the cell phone, from the screen? I mean, between 11:30 and midnight, you can have your shower. You can prepare your lunch for tomorrow. You can prepare your day for tomorrow. Have a to-do list. You can prepare your clothes that you're going to wear tomorrow. You're just trying to figure out a way to have a 30-minute. And after that, when it's becoming habitual for them to do this little pre-bedtime routine without the screen, you're challenging them to add a 15-minute to an extent where you can usually reach to that 45-60-minute range without making them stressed or making them frustrated that they are away from their cell phone. And this is how you work. You don't blatantly ask them to be away 2 hours from their cell phone. They're just not gonna do it, and it's gonna be a confrontation every single night. You start low at 30 minutes, and then you work your way towards that 45, that 60-minute, and then it's just becoming habitual and normal to be away from the cell phone.
That's great advice. I think I need to take some of that advice on board myself, to be honest, as well. But like you said, it's not supposed to be easy either, is it? It's a habit a lot of people get into, and breaking habits is quite difficult.
Yeah, and again, the human is a social animal, and now we are deprived from that. I mean, it's really neat that we have Zoom, that we have i5, that we have Skype. We can see each other still, and we can communicate with each other. What we are lacking the face-to-face meeting. And these teenagers, I mean, those who are between 13 and 17, they are old enough so they don't play in the street or in the backyard anymore. They are having always social gathering, and they are too young to have responsibilities like just going to the grocery store, just going shopping in this for all the essential services. So really, the teenagers are stuck at home with their own mind. They are stuck with it. So we are forgetting about this a little bit. So therefore, they are using that extra time that they have to connect with cell phones. Yes, some of them, they're going to play Fortnite, obviously. But mainly, they are still connecting through Fortnite because they're playing against their friends. So that's the way that they are coping with. But doing so, they are impairing their sleep because they're spending extra time on this. And we all know about the blue light. So again, we cannot ask them to put away the cell phone the same way we were doing prior COVID. It's a different situation. We need to adapt it. So the 2 hours become truly, I think, in my opinion, unrealistic. So going with only 30-ish minutes. And for the parents, talk with your teenager. I know they are difficult to reach out to sometimes, but you need to almost replace the physical figure that they were having with their friends. So having discussion, talking with them, playing with them. You are probably the only person who's allowed to play and have a discussion with them. They cannot see their friends out. So by doing so, you will replace the cell phone.
And so on to the next question. I've spoken to quite a lot of people saying they're having quite a lot of vivid, funny dreams. Should they be worried?
No, they should not be worried. Actually, there is a researcher back in Newcastle, Dr. Jason Ellis, who's a phenomenal researcher, and he did a couple of appearances on that very subject on the BBC, I think, and he was explaining all the theory behind the fact why people are experiencing more vivid dream lately. I don't have quite the answer of why you're getting vivid dream, but bottom line is, if they're vivid but they're not scary, if you awake after a vivid dream and you can go back to sleep within a couple of minutes, you shouldn't worry about these vivid dreams. I mean, if they're funny or even impressive, just enjoy the ride of having a vivid dream. Some people enjoy them, some other are probably scared of it. So if they do not impair your sleep quality, I mean, there's nothing to be concerned about.
Embrace the vividness and funniness.
Yeah, if they are funny, if they're not scary, embrace it. If they are, well, you may want to seek help from Jason Ellis from the UK.
Yeah. So lead on to the next question then. If someone find themselves really tired throughout the day, should you be going for naps?
Oh, definitely the nap. I will always fight my way through with napping. I don't know why people think it's a badge of honor going through their day tired and ramping up the productivity. I mean, if you are in need of sleep, if you want to do a nap, please do so. You will be even more productive. You'll be less moody, less grumpy. In fact, everyone should be napping a good 20-30 minutes in the mid-afternoon. So between 1 and 3 in the afternoon, this is the preferred time where you should be napping. In fact, you have your circadian rhythm, who is decreasing between these hours where you are more tired, and everyone is blaming the too big of a lunch for that decrease of energy. But in fact, the real answer is your circadian rhythm is diving between these hours. So having a 20-30 minute nap, and when I'm saying 20-30 minute nap, is not necessarily sleeping for 20-30 minutes. It's only shut eye. So what I personally do and what we suggest to our athletes is have your watch, have your cell phone if you want, time 30 minutes. It's 1, 2, 3, go. This is started. You just fold for 20-30 minutes, regardless of sleeping or not. Having that shut eye moment is enough to re-energize yourself for the second half of your day. So definitely, if you are tired during the day, it's not because you're working from home that you should not be tired. Take the nap. Your boss is not there to watch over you at home. So you can actually afford that 20-30 minutes, and you'll see the benefit of a nap. You're not weaker because you're sleeping more. In fact, you'll be just more efficient than the people who are not taking the nap.
Does your body come used to naps then though? So say when we are back into a normal routine and you've been having a daily nap at 1 o'clock, that might not be possible when things go back to normal, whatever normal is.
Yeah, so there's two ways of seeing this. So lately we've seen research saying that you can actually get better at napping. So the more you do it, the better you are at it, the faster you'll fall asleep. The other way of seeing it is if you're the boss, well, I don't want my employee to nap because they are losing at 20-30 minutes or they're less productive. Well, we're fighting a lot with this mentality. I mean, if you can allow your employee to have only a 20-minute shut-eye, they will be more productive. So here, for example, at Center for Sleep, every between patient in the afternoon, if we were allowed to show you the back scene of the center, so the physician and my other office, sometime between a patient between 1 and 2, you'll see us just dozing off. It's only for a couple of minutes, but after that, you're just re-energized, and that 20-30 minute nap is short enough so it won't impair your following night. So that maybe a discussion to have with your boss to see, look, it's a 20-30 minute, can you afford it, and this and that. And if you can, between Monday and Friday, therefore enjoying a nap in the weekend, so you can actually bank sleep. So sleep is a cumulative thing, so you don't run after it, you try to bank it. So banking sleep will be probably one of the most important thing to do post-COVID if you're not allowed to nap at your job.
Oh, that's really interesting. So next, what are the top tips to get back into a good sleep routine? I know we spoke about setting a routine and the phones and blue lights. Is there anything else on top of that?
So as you mentioned, phones, blue light, having your schedule, be careful of what you're eating. I mean, now COVID, we've seen these pictures all over the place that pre-COVID, you're that big, and post-COVID, you're that big. So be mindful because nutrition and sleep are intertwined together.
I read something interesting yesterday saying how cherries and almond nuts.
Tart cherry juice may play a role into sleep, kiwi fruits, and you have a couple of component, micronutrient and macronutrient that may play a role. So it's not only what you eat, but it's also when you eat it. Of course, if you eat a very sugarish, fatty snack before sleeping, you are setting yourself for failure, basically. Or if you're drinking too much coffee, so because you're not working the following day, you are not thinking too much about your sleep. But in fact, we are experiencing this every single week in our life, even prior COVID. So let's take a normal week, so Monday to Friday. All of a sudden, you're sleeping according to your schedule. So every night you go to bed at 10, wake up towards 7, and off you go to work. Now it's Friday night, so let's go have a pint of beer and go out with friends. You come back, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and you sleep.
So just a note, young people not drinking, of course.
Yeah, so true. So let's say they're out just playing, and instead of being in bed by 10, they are being allowed to go to bed later. So let's say that their parents are giving them some slack till midnight, and they can sleep in the morning. They do the same on Saturday night, 2 hours later. So instead of being in bed by 10, they go at midnight and they sleep in. And all of a sudden, it's Sunday, and they are asking them to go back to their normal routine at 10 to 7. You are setting yourself a social jet lag. You're basically 2-hour jet lag now. You're asking your brain to adapt from a midnight bedtime to a 10 o'clock bedtime. So that's one of the reasons why Mondays are so hard, because you've been sleeping between 12 and 10, and now all of a sudden you're asking 10 to 7. So now with COVID, it's even worse, because now you don't have to go to school. You don't have to do anything the following day. You don't have anything scheduled. So might as well sleep in to pass the day, might as well go to bed later, might as well do this. And your schedule is all misaligned, and you're all over the place. So sometimes sleeping at 9, then at 12, then at 11. So basically restructuring your sleep schedule slowly but surely, to make sure that you don't nurture that insomnia vicious circle of trying to sleep too early. There is such a thing as going to bed too early. So you stabilize this, and you work your way back slowly to where you wanted to be post-COVID. So decrease the cell phone and screen use. Sleep hygiene, you're in bed for sleeping and sleeping only. You don't read in bed. You don't watch your phone in bed. You don't watch TV in bed. When you're in bed, it's for the sole purpose of sleeping. Because if you do something else than sleeping in your bed, you are also, again, setting some natural barrier for sleep. And your brain is very smart, but it's also easily tricked. If you're doing 2, 3, and 4 things in your bed, and all of a sudden you're asking your brain, you know what, it's time to shut down right away. Brain is not that efficient, unfortunately, for us. So bed should really be used only for sleep. Because remember that sleep is not something that you do. Sleep is something that happens to you. Therefore, if you want something to happen to you, you need to control your environment as much as you can, without falling into the extreme, obviously. So keeping your bedroom a friendly, sleepy environment would be the best advice I would have for a teenager. Get your computer, Xbox, PlayStation out. Basement.
That's a good. That's really, really good. Really, really good. And I think we've covered preparing for sleep. So the last question is, if someone's waking up through the night, what advice would you give? Would you give to those people?
So you actually look why they are waking up at night. So it could be a multiple. There could be multiple factors. So you always ask if they are sleeping with. So they're a young teenager. Do they have young pets running around? Is that because someone's snoring? Is that because of nightmare and all these little controllable factors? If it's only spontaneous awakening. So let's say I'm going to bed at 10. And every single night I'm waking up at 2 a.m. in the morning and I'm not falling back asleep. I'm tossing, turning, I'm staring at the ceiling, praying for Morphe to come back and get me to sleep. And you're just getting annoyed and frustrated. And the sooner you realize it's been an hour and a half now that you're awake and tossing and turning. This is exactly how you perpetuate the insomnia. Because you're in bed, not sleeping. Now the bed and the bedroom is becoming an anxiety problem. Will I sleep tonight? Will I be able to sleep the entire night? How long will I sleep? Will I be refreshed tomorrow? So if you're not able to sleep the entire night and you're waking up in the middle of the night, what I would suggest is you get out of your bed. Even you get out of the bedroom. I personally prepare every single night my emergency plan. Every night before going to bed, my couch has a blanket, a pillow, and a night book. If I probably use that once every 2 months. If I'm having a bad night, a bad awakening, I'm going straight to my couch. I'm comfy, I have my blankets, I'm not freezing, I have a pillow to be comfortable, and I'm reading a night book. I call it a night book because if I take a day book, it's too entertaining. I will spend the entire night there. So I take a night book that is good enough for me to read, but boring enough so after 20, 30-ish minutes, I'm going to close it. So I'm going there.
So what if there was people who didn't read? What could they use instead of reading?
They can use anything they want as long as it's not a screen. So they have patient that they read, have patient they draw, have patient they write, have patient they do Sudoku, have patient they do puzzle, have patient that they do knitting. I mean, your guess will be as good as mine, as long as you're away from screen, as long as you're doing something that is not too entertaining, that is not too arousing for you. Basically all we want is to distract your mind. In a sense that I don't want you to stare at the wall and say, well, the doc says I should be out of my bed for 30 minutes. So let's wait 30 minutes, arm crossed. Obviously, this is not going to work. So just do something so you become sleepy again, you're de-arousing, and then sleep can happen again. Because again, it goes back to you do not do sleep. It happens to you. If you are awake in the middle of the night for a long period of time, it's because you're not ready to be back asleep. You need to put your mind back in a state where sleep can happen. So that's why you get out of bed, do something that's not too arousing, so you don't spend excessive time of thinking about, well, I'm not sleeping, tomorrow is going to be hard, and then the vicious circle goes and go on and on for hours. Reading, writing, drawing, puzzle, anything.
No Xbox, no Fortnite.
Fortnite is prohibited between 12 and 12. That's for sure. And then when you feel it, you just go back to sleep. Well, you try to go back to bed.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining me today to this Q&A session. I hope it's been really insightful for others who are going to watch. It's been really insightful to me. I've learned loads. I'm going to go for a nap in a minute.
Yeah, you can afford napping. It's the best thing you can do. It's the best gift you can give yourself in the afternoon.
No, but thank you so much. And if anyone has found it useful, please drop a comment in this video on YouTube. And yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for having me.